Welcome to Fantasy Football with the Dork and the Dude.
I'm the Dork.
And I'm the Dude.
Welcome. The season's over.
Fantasy season's over.
Dude, you know what's one thing I liked about the games this past week?
What's that?
A lot of the bad teams went after it. They
Yeah,
didn't
they did.
quit. Yeah, I'm talking New Orleans, Chicago,
New England.
They no one was playing for a draft pick, it seemed like. They were all making the teams on the cusp earn it.
Yeah.
I'll throw Seattle in there too.
I agree.
I like that. That's good for the sport, good for the fans.
In our fantasy league, I ended up finishing third, but going into the final Sunday, I had a shot at first.
You did. Steven won again. I think he's a 5-time winner now.
Yep, he sure is.
Congrats. And, we gotta knock him off that lofty perch.
One thing I do know is the voodoo worked. It took Mikey out of first place.
Okay, but it put Steven in.
Yeah, but it was all about whoever was in first place when we do the show.
It's science, people. Voodoo works.
It does work.
Okay.
It worked this year.
For me, it was a rough year, and next year I am going to make an effort not to swing for the fences so much.
Yeah, you were one of the few guys that actually had to pay the whole season.
Yeah, I didn't hit any of the pools, the side bets, so that gets costly. And we all can cover it, but
sure.
It's you just want to win.
It's not as much fun when you're losing money. That's for damn sure.
Well, no, it isn't. But it's more about pride, seeing your name on the trophy.
That's what it's all about.
Yep.
I mean, even Mike and Steven, who collected a fair amount of money and stuff, when you add in how much they spent over the course of the season, it's not a lot of money.
No, it isn't.
But it's better than paying out.
Oh, it's better than playing for free is better than paying to play. There's no doubt about it.
No doubt. Okay, well, we're going to get into playoff drafts. We're having ours tomorrow at 5:30, and maybe some strategies to talk about. We also we're in a pool that we have a bracket. We're going to talk about our brackets, and then we're going to give you our best bets going into the wild card weekend. How's that sound, Dork?
It sounds great.
Okay, so give me a little playoff strategy for Guillotine League there, Dork.
Is it Guillotine or Guillotine?
Doesn't matter. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. When a player loses, they're out.
They're out.
When their team loses, they're out. My strategy is this. Go big or go home. Pick a team or two teams you think are going to play the most games.
At least three.
Do your bracket first, and then lean on those teams. Now, I have Baltimore and Detroit in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I'm going to be looking to draft Ravens and Lions.
Sure.
Ravens play 4 games, so I'm going to lean towards them.
Right.
There's other teams I like. I do like Philadelphia, but I'm worried that they could be upset in round 1.
Right.
By Green Bay, and
possible.
So I might let someone else take Barkley and Hurts, and look to go elsewhere.
If they get past that game, though, that could have been that'd be a mistake.
That would be a mistake, but you got to make a call.
Sure.
And that's the one I'm thinking about. I had in the brewery pool. I'm definitely picking Green Bay just for game theory, because if I'm right, that's going to be huge for me.
Sure. Well, and one strategy is try to look for, especially starting out before the wild card round, look week 1 anyway, the better matchups.
Mm-hmm.
And then where would those teams, if they did win those matchups, where would they end up in the divisional round?
Right.
And then that's kind of a good way to do it. I haven't quite decided what route I'm going in our draft tomorrow. In the brewery bracket, I took the Bills over the Rams.
In the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Now, that's an outside-the-box pick that I like. I don't agree with it because I think Bills are losing in round 2 to Baltimore, and the
What
Rams.
if Pittsburgh knocks out Baltimore?
Well, then
you're toast.
Then you're fucked. I mean, that's part of it. I don't think that'll happen, but Pittsburgh is a wild card. Them in Baltimore, that's always a good one, but I'm not seeing it this year.
Yeah, and it's also good to, of course, make sure that you know what the potential matchups can be depending on the outcomes, and we don't know the outcomes.
We don't know yet. Yes.
Yeah, I haven't decided how I'm going to do yet, but I'm thinking just to let the draft fall to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just decide on the fly the 2 teams I'm going with. And it's also good to break it up where you got maybe half your roster in the AFC, half in the NFC, so they aren't knocking each other out.
And
you want to make sure that matchup, especially week 1, that you don't screw up in your draft and get it, 2 teams in the same damn game.
Yeah, unless it's a case where near the end of the draft you look and you say, okay, say in this case Pittsburgh.
Right.
I need another running back. I think they're going to lose, but maybe I'll go for a week of Najee Harris and hope he gets a touchdown. Or Joe Mixon's another one.
Sure.
Of a team I expect. I'm expecting to lose in round 1.
At the end of my draft, I'm not going to be grabbing a running back because hopefully I've got my 2 running backs.
Right.
And my flex. By that point, hopefully at that point, I'm just drafting a tight end or a wide receiver.
But again, that's the only incidence where I draft a player on a team I expect to lose in round 1.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some of the players we think that could go off that you depending on your strategy, you definitely want on your roster.
One more thing. I want your opinion. What do you think of the Chiefs?
What can you say? They've been they go to the Super Bowl every year. I mean,
yeah.
But am I going to draft Mahomes, and is Pacheco even playing, or who are you going to draft on that?
But do you think they got a real good chance at the Super Bowl?
They're the favorite.
Where would you put them personally?
As far as drafting?
Your opinion, yeah, as far as...
It's a crapshoot. There's only 3 teams in the league that went the whole season without scoring 30 points, and the KC was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
They get in a goddamn shootout with the Bills or somebody, they could be going down.
Right. See, I think... Assuming...
That's why I took the Bills over the Chiefs in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
Although you throw Baltimore in there, they got a great shot.
Yeah. I mean, last year, if you went with the Chiefs, you probably win our league.
Sure.
And a lot of us didn't, and whoever did probably won.
I actually won the league last year.
Oh, you did?
And I don't think
the playoff pool?
Yeah, and I don't think I had a lot of Chiefs.
Okay.
You can seeing as how they're going to have one less game anyway, you can surmount that whatever they do when they get in, depending on how far your team that's scoring points goes.
Okay.
And you said you like Baltimore?
I like Baltimore. I like them a lot.
So they're going to get an extra game.
Yeah.
They're probably going to score more points than KC over the course of the deal, so that makes sense.
Probably.
So, KC's maybe my number 4 or 5 team to target players.
Okay. Yeah, I'm there with you.
They just don't have anybody that stands out. Maybe maybe if I go another route, I'd take Kelsey at tight end or maybe Worthy at wide receiver. But other than that, there's nobody I like.
Okay.
Their defense wasn't a good fantasy defense.
Mm-hmm.
Although things can change in the playoffs. So it's a crapshoot.
Okay.
But let's talk quarterbacks a little bit. I mean, obviously Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar, and Jared Goff are probably going to be targeted pretty heavily, I'm thinking.
I would think so. I got Lamar at the top because I like Baltimore, and they got...
Sure.
If they, go through to the Super Bowl, that's 4 games.
Well, you're going to have a pick before me, so... I'm probably not getting Lamar.
No. I might not get him. I think I'm picking second.
Oh, I don't know. I've been watching some YouTube videos, and in most of these guillotine leagues, Josh Allen's going number one.
Okay.
Just because they're putting up 30 points a damn game.
Yeah.
And they figure Baltimore should learn their lesson from last year and just run the shit out of Henry.
Yeah.
And so Lamar's numbers might not be great, but they win the goddamn game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to say. I pulled this off Fantasy Football Today. It's their playoff cheat sheet.
Okay.
And they have, let's see, who did they have? They have the Lions and Chiefs going to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And so, for example, Jamar Gibbs, James Cook, they're in the top three running backs on their cheat sheet.
Okay. Interesting. I suppose Barkley's number one.
Barkley's one. Jahmyr Gibbs is two, although I've seen Gibbs going number one in a lot of these guillotine drafts.
Right.
James Cook's three, Henry four, Dobbins fifth, Bucky sixth.
Okay.
What else?
Well, I think my advice is do your bracket first. Pick a team, that you think, the teams you think are going to play a lot of games, and focus on those players.
Sounds like a plan.
It's pretty simple. I'm going to be focusing on Ravens and Lions.
Yeah, that's not a bad strategy.
And kicker.
But like, what happens if, for example, let's say you grab Lamar, and then when it comes back around to you, Gibbs is gone, and Barkley's gone. Henry'd probably still be there for you. That'd be a good play.
Believe me, if he's there, I will rush to the podium, even though we don't have one. It's just sitting around your table.
If you were to get Lamar and Henry, that'd be a nice start to your draft.
Yes, it would.
Okay.
And I just want to say, kickers and defenses are more important than they are in the regular season drafts, to me.
Why is that?
Well, you don't want a kicker who goes out right away.
True.
And you don't want a defense who goes out right away.
But you don't want your QB or running back either. But
no, but they're big.
They're big point getters.
Big point getters.
Yeah.
So if you got half the league going out, losing their kicker or defense, that's 20 points a game, and you got yours. That's 20 points a week you're getting that they aren't.
That's for sure.
So
that's why I think between officiating and everything else, KC they're going to make sure they get there. The NFL wants a three-peat. They've got their new golden boy in Patrick Mahomes. I said this shit last year going into the playoffs, and I was right. I'm saying it again. So maybe I'll target KC.
Why don't you target the Chiefs then and win some money?
If everybody's laying off
them. Make it work for you.
If they had a big-time running back or a quarterback that was more than mediocre fantasy-wise, I would. But that's the problem.
Mm-hmm. But Mahomes, he rushes for more yards in the playoffs.
He does.
Than he does in the regular season, because he doesn't need to do it in the regular season.
Yep.
But it'll be an interesting playoffs. I look at things like yards per play, yards per pass attempt.
Yep.
And that tells me Baltimore's well ahead of the rest of the league.
They are. They're leading the league in EPA or whatever.
And it's quite possible, if I go with Ravens, Pittsburgh upsets them in round one. And I can say, oh, well, that was $25 down the drain. Won't be the first time or the last.
Of course, aren't you a little worried, though, that if the Ravens beat the Steelers, they go play the Bills in Buffalo?
I am, yeah. But Buffalo's a good team. They're both good teams.
And they're at home.
And that's going to be a hell of a game. In fact, I think that game will decide the AFC when it happens.
Okay. Because the Chiefs are going to be... okay, let's go through our brackets.
Okay.
You got yours?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start off in the AFC with the games. who you got Bills over Bills and Broncos?
Oh, Bills.
I got them too. I assume you have Ravens.
And we're going to do the point spread after this, right?
Yes.
Okay. I got the Ravens and I got the Chargers over Houston.
I've got the Chargers over Houston as well. How about in the division round?
You got the Ravens?
I got the Ravens over the Steelers.
Okay. I got Baltimore in the division round, and I got the Chargers upsetting the Chiefs.
Okay. I've got the Chiefs beating the Chargers. You know, Chargers going to KC, if they win this week, it'll be their 4th straight road game.
Okay.
And bettors will tell you that's not good.
Okay.
So the Chiefs will slaughter them if the Chargers get there, I think. I got the Bills over the Ravens. So
okay.
Then in the conference, you have the Ravens beating the Chargers.
Yes, I do.
Okay. I've got the Bills over the Chiefs. And then let's go NFC, then we'll give our Super Bowl pick.
Okay. NFC, I have, first of all, I got Tampa Bay beating Washington and Minnesota beating the Rams.
Okay. What about Eagles and Packers?
Eagles and Packers, I think that's a toss-up. In the brewery pool, I picked the Packers.
Okay.
If you ask me who I think is the team that's going to win, I give the Eagles a slight edge.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if Green Bay beat them. I think that's a potential upset.
I wouldn't either, except Green Bay hasn't been playing well coming into this. And that's a big indicator. Like Pittsburgh, they've lost 4 in a row.
Yeah.
They've damn near got no shot in that game.
Well, Green Bay, they were playing well. Then they had the loss at Minnesota, which was a fairly close game. And then they lost at against the Bears, which was, they were still in the playoffs, and I think if it's a real game,
yep.
If the playoffs were on the line, I think Jordan Love probably plays.
Oh, he's going to play.
And the injury it was what I heard it described as he hit his funny bone or something.
Yeah, and you know how that is.
Yeah.
It screws you up for a little while, but then it goes away.
Yeah.
But you never know if that's what's really going on.
Yeah. And the thing is, the Eagles, they've just been very good down the stretch. If
their defense is better.
About the teams down the stretch being good, they're one.
Yep. Hurts is going to play.
Hurts is going to play.
Yep.
So I'm going with, like I said, in the pool as game strategy, I took the Packers. But
right.
Who do I think is going to win? Probably the Eagles.
Okay. I've got the Eagles over the Packers, Bucks over Commanders, but I got the Rams over the Vikings.
Okay.
I think that playoff experience that the Rams have had, hell, they damn near got in the Super Bowl last year, Dork.
The Rams did.
Yeah. They won 2 games, didn't they?
I don't think so. I think it was Lions and 49ers. They may have won 2 games, but it was Lions and 49ers in the championship.
Right, but Detroit, didn't they knock the Rams out to get in the NFC championship?
They did. Detroit did knock the Rams out.
And the Rams were in that fucking game.
You're right, it was a close game. Yeah. They were all close in the NFC last year. Green Bay,
yep,
almost damn near beat San Francisco as the 7th seed.
Yep. And Detroit almost beat San Francisco.
Detroit almost beat San Francisco. Yeah.
Okay. So I've got the Rams over the Vikings. How about division round? What you got?
Detroit and Tampa Bay.
Okay. So you have Tampa Bay over the
Minnesota.
Over the Vikings?
Yeah. And Detroit beating Green Bay.
I mean, you've got, okay. Since it's shaken up a little bit, we have different teams.
Right.
I've got the Rams upsetting the Lions, and then I've got the Bucks over the Eagles.
Okay. Oh, I said I'm going with the Green Bay in the pool.
Right.
So that's what I'm doing here.
Okay.
But, okay. But if it's if it ends up Detroit, Minnesota, Philadelphia, you know what? I'll still go with Tampa Bay, Detroit. I think they have Philly's number. Okay.
And then in the conference, I got the Rams over the Bucks. Bucks would have to go to L.A. And then in the Super Bowl, I've got the Bills over the Rams.
Okay, I got the Lions over the Bucks in the championship, and I've flipped on this. I'm taking the Ravens over the Lions.
Okay. All right. Okay, so that's our playoff bracket and our strategy. Now we're going to pick every game. I've already bet every game except the Buffalo-Denver game because I'm scared that Buffalo's going to win but not cover.
Gotcha. Okay.
Who you like, Dork?
Okay, let's start. Chargers -3 against Houston.
Yep.
Obviously, I like the Chargers.
I took them too.
Over under 42.5. I'm going to go under on that one.
Me too.
Pittsburgh +9.5 at last. I saw it against Baltimore.
Okay.
At Baltimore. I'm taking Baltimore, and I'm going over as well.
Okay, I'm taking Baltimore, and I've got the over as well.
I just think they're the best team.
I do too.
Denver at Buffalo +8.5, 46.5 over under. I think I don't like this because it could be a blowout, but I also think Denver's good enough to cover that large spread.
Okay, the one thing that worries me about Denver is they had one of the easiest strengths of schedule this year.
Yeah.
And Buffalo, they can play against anybody.
Yeah. They can.
I'm afraid it's going to be a blowout.
It could be. It's a potential blowout, but
I'll take Buffalo. As Teddy Cover says, if you're playing, you're laying, and okay. I'm laying the points with Buffalo.
Okay, there you go. I'm leaning Denver, I'll say.
Okay.
And I'll also take the under.
Okay. I got the under.
Green Bay +4.5 at Philly. Over under 45.5.
I'm taking Philly.
I'm taking Green Bay to cover.
Okay.
Should be a good game though.
I think Barkley could put up 200 yards on those bitches.
He could. I'm not seeing it though. Washington +3 at Tampa Bay. Give me the Bucks, and I think I'll take the over as well.
I'm taking the Bucks as well.
Over 50.5.
I got the over.
And Minnesota -1.5 at the Rams. I'm taking Minnesota.
I'm taking the Rams.
Okay.
Most of the pros are on Minnesota.
Okay.
Of course, they were last week against Detroit too. So.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, here's what I bet. I bet Roger and I were watching football, and after before the Sunday night game started, I said I better check and see it. No, it was it after or was it after? I think they had all the lines out for this weekend except the Detroit and Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
And so I told Roger I'm going to go check those lines and get on some early action and see if I can beat the line. And so what's the spread with Baltimore and Pittsburgh?
It's 9.5 now. It has been as high as 10.
I got them at 8.5.
Oh, good job, dude.
What's Philly?
Philly is 4.5.
I got them at 3.5.
Okay. Yeah, I heard the Fez talking about that one.
Uh-huh. And then what's the Tampa Bay Washington?
3.
Yeah, I got them at 3. That line hasn't moved at all.
Nope.
And apparently the majority of money is on Tampa Bay, I think.
Okay.
I took the Rams on the money line at +105.
You're big on the Rams.
Well, I just cashed a NFC West ticket. I cashed a make the playoff tickets on them. I got them to win the Super Bowl. They're one of those teams that when they get into playoffs, they can just turn it on. Yep. They're like KC.
Mm-hmm.
They can just turn it on and get on a fucking roll.
Okay.
And that's what I think is going to happen.
Do you know that, let's see, I got it written down here somewhere.
And I got the Chargers at -3 against Houston.
The Rams, they're before the Seattle game with Stafford at quarterback. Their last 3 games before that.
Yep.
49ers, Jets, and Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly a gauntlet.
Right.
They have averaged 15 points and 265 yards on offense.
Yeah, I know, but the last game you can't count. They rested everybody.
No, that doesn't include the last game.
Oh, okay.
This was the 3 games before that.
Yeah, I'm not.
Their offense kind of went dormant.
It did, yeah. And but I think they'll flick the switch.
They might. I mean, they got a great coach. They got a quarterback who has won a Super Bowl. I can't argue with
in
that.
This week against Minnesota, I think I got the better coach with McVay, and I got the better QB with Stafford.
Better QB for sure, but Minnesota has a better defense, and they've just performed better all year.
Detroit lit them up, man.
Detroit lit them up, but they also also couldn't do a thing in the red zone.
I think
against
Stafford
Detroit.
is second.
And Detroit's very good.
They are.
I'd say that.
I think Stafford, though, is like second in the league against the blitz, and Minnesota blitzes more than anybody.
Yeah.
He could just carve them up, which is what I'm hoping.
Well, that game's a tough call. I agree, but I'm my MO is to go with who I think the better team is, and I think that's Minnesota.
I got you. Okay, anything else before we wrap it up here, Dorkster?
Yeah, let's throw 10 down on the Minnesota -1.5 against the Rams.
You're going to give me 1.5?
Well, that's what the line is.
I'll do it for 10.
Okay.
Write it down.
Write it down.
I thought we had a bet last week, and maybe it didn't get written down. But
no, it did. I got it here. Dude, Pittsburgh, Dork, Cincinnati.
Oh, gotcha.
It was -2.
We pushed.
That was the cover.
Okay. For some reason, I thought we bet that Detroit-Minnesota game.
I don't think we did. I'd have been happy to, but or maybe I said no. I don't know.
Pittsburgh.
Because I was on Detroit.
Pittsburgh, if Pickens catches one ball, Pittsburgh beats Cincy.
Well,
that guy is such a clown.
Why does Pittsburgh attract clown receivers?
Because they take risk in the draft and draft guys with questionable character. Or in Pickens' case, I'm not aware he's gotten in any trouble, but the dude is definitely immature.
Well, it seems like a thing,
Yeah.
And yeah, they get good ones, and then they all flake out. Anyways, not our problem.
I hear you.
Thanks for joining us. I think that's all we got.
That's all we got. We'll be back next week to recap Wild Card Week and then go into the divisional games.
Go into the divisional games, and
we'll also briefly discuss our fantasy draft and how it went. It looks like there's going to be 6 of us drafting.
Okay. Should I throw it out to Chicago Bob, or have you already?
Oh, yeah, I totally spaced it. Yeah, Bob can call in.
Okay.
Did he do that last year?
I don't know if he did or not.
Yeah, no, contact me immediately.
Okay, because we've been talking Bears coaching.
Yeah. Tell me he can just send me a $25 check and he's in.
Yeah.
He will draft last because he didn't play in the league.
Those are the rules.
But for $25 and fun, I don't know why he wouldn't do it. Bob, I'm imploring you.
Okay.
Because then we'll have 7, which means more money in the pool.
More money in the pool.
Yeah. But in fact, I'll message Bob and
fewer Ravens for me to draft.
That's true. I will message him as well, and you text him.
Okay.
And hopefully he'll get on board.
Right on.
I don't know what his work schedule is, if he'll be available.
He might not be. He might be at work.
So. Right. Okay, well, thanks again. We will see you guys next Thursday on Fantasy Football with the Dork and the Dude. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Playoffs are here. Enjoy the games this weekend.
That's it. Go ahead and Dork alert.